Hey guys, it is the end of January and I have finally finished colouring in everything I've done for Inktober. It's been a while. I've drawn everything out. In my defence, I drew everything out in October, but the actual colouring in and attacking my life with pro markers and watercolour pencils, that's just done as and when. Like I said in my last video, I do kind of draw out my own colouring books and then colour them in. I should actually do a colouring book. That's actually a decent idea, so maybe that's for a future video, I don't know. But for right now, there are 70, that's 70 images, illustrations from October. Some are completed illustrations, most are just character designs and some ideas. I'm not entirely sure what to do with them all. I'm not very great at monetizing and making it all actually work for me. So if you have any ideas, I really am open. I'm still getting used to YouTubing. It's taking its time. I can only really commit to YouTubing 1 day a week. So my time is a little bit limited, but I'm here as dedicated as I can be for now. So hopefully I'll find more time in the future. But for right now, here's my next sketchbook. For this year's Inktober, it is now end of January. I finally finished it, but I've managed to do 70 in total prompts. Because during the winter I tend to go through a bit of a creative slump, I am trying my best to sort of stick with Inktober, and I tend to do quite a few of the challenges. Jake Parker's, I also do Mab's Drawloween Club, so this is a mixture of character designs and full illustrations. Now I have to attempt to remember what prompt is what, and not a chance in hell. Anyway, every year I try to stick with a theme. This year's theme was sort of skulls and bones and that sort of stuff. That lasted about 3 drawings, so anyway, here we go. So that was the first one. Again, I can't remember what the prompt was. These are just done in watercolour and pen and little bits of shading with a watercolour pencil and some graphite as well. And it's done on a watercolour hot press. It's not entirely my favourite, but I always like trying to experiment with different colours and trying to get different face shapes going in there. And she's another one of mine that I'm not entirely a fan of. I think the prompt for this was werewolf or something like that. So I tried to base all of the prompts around a character. So I'm not sure how detailed that will get. The watercolour did stain slightly on the face. You may also have seen a few of these on my Instagram. So if you're on there, you will have seen what these are. I like this concept. And this was kind of the original theme and idea for a lot of my work, where I was just going to do for Inktober just plain black and white with flecks of yellow in there. But I might save that for something else. And you might notice there is a tiny, tiny little ghost in the window. I have to entertain myself. Yeah, I kind of kept with the ghost theme. That's quite a strong thing in my work, visually. This is when I was still trying to do the bones theme. I like how this one came out, and I'm sort of still torn on whether it should have more colour in it, but there we go, I like how it came out. This is, I think, my favourite piece from all of my Inktoberness. I've actually used it as my avatar, I think, on my Instagram now, and it just came out exactly as I wanted it to. It's just the right balance of light and dark, and I love kind of skulls and bones with eyes poking through. This took a while to do. That hair was a bit of a nightmare just to get the gradient in it with watercolour, working quickly, but it came out okay. I'm kind of liking how, again, I really wish I could remember the prompts. I should have written them down somewhere. I think this one was death, and I think that's the Japanese symbol for death. Fun fact, I did a play back in my college days where we drew that symbol on our foreheads, sang songs, and terrorised members of the audience. It was very art, you know, at the time. And this one is, I think, a very much warmer sense of colour. I don't know whether you can see the gold flecks on this. That was watercolour pen, and then this was a Posca marker, a gold one, that actually came out very well. I am going to put these up for sale on my folksy account. I've just got to take my time to get everything. Oh, hang on, my camera went out of focus. I've just got to make sure that I just got to find the time. Things are really, really busy. This year is just not slowing down already. And that brings us to this sketchbook. I try to fill one every single year. And for the last 3 years I've managed to do it. I haven't shown them all on here, so I will do those. And I'm trying to make this not an entirely sketchbook based channel, but I work a lot in Sketchbook, so it just makes sense to kind of show you what I'm doing right now, at least anyway. So this is, most of these prompts are the Drawloween challenge. Let's see if I can zoom in a bit there. So, and I've written down the prompts to most of these. I think most of the prompts I've done here are from Mab's Drawloween Club and Camilla Dorico. And then at the end, I just kind of got bored of following prompts and just drew my own thing. So this one was Vampire. I do kind of like having the wings growing out of the head. I did a canvas like this a while ago, but I ended up stepping on it and put my foot through it, so I might have to paint that again. But it came out okay. I quite like the idea. This one was for Catacombs. I was either going to draw like a million billion different types of, let me see if I can adjust it a little bit of light there, a million billion different types of bones, or I could just chuck a skull with antlers on a girl's head with the elf ears. I like how that came out too. Also, while I'm doing this, I draw a lot of images and I have no idea how to monetize them. So like stickers, postcards. So if you do really genuinely have an idea, I'm open to it, because I'm kind of figuring out, I can't really sell a sketchbook. Well, I suppose I could, but there we go. That's more bats over the eyes, and this prompt is actually bat. And of course, she's drinking a cup of tea. This one's Candelabra. She came out okay. I've scanned most of these in, and they're on my Instagram, so if you're on there, you'll have seen some of these before. If not, go check. I think I'm Ryan_James_artist. Sorry, I've just wolfed down my coffee first thing in the morning. Well, my decaf coffee, but that's a whole other thing. This one is Huntress. I kind of channeled my inner Katniss there and chucked some antlers on her. Because why not? Black Dog. Now, I did kind of use the same template in the other drawing, and I think I've used this again a bit later on. My use of light in my work is quite weak, and I'm working on that, but I did manage to get just a small sense of glow, although I'm not entirely sure you can see that. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm trying to... The use of light in this room at the moment is not incredible, so I'm just hoping all of this comes out. This prompt was yokai. I had no idea what a yokai was. I'd never heard of it up until this point, but apparently it's some sort of spirit. So that's what came to my mind with that one. This one was a little bit of a stretch, I get it. The prompt was toad, so you can kind of see the toady things happening there, but I wanted to make sure. It was very, very artistic, loose interpretation, shall we say. This one's Coven. I like the hair and the kind of the Three Sisters look. I am going to try and work more on these kind of prompts and things, so I will get... Well, the witchy theme is a whole separate project, but we'll get to that another time. This one is Witch, and I did make a bit of a mistake on this one. I wish I'd done the bowl a different colour, because I'm not entirely sure whether you can see that there's a witch swimming in the little bowl of tea she's drinking. So I wanted to get that. In there. Again, I suppose I should say these are done with pro markers and watercolor pencil. and some fine liners, and then the white highlights are done in Posca markers. I've tried using the jelly pens. I know they're very popular, but every time I've used them, it's gone horribly wrong. This, I think, is my favorite illustration of the whole sketchbook. The prompt was tarot. I actually do this for a job. Well, sort of, but I'm gonna do something with this illustration. I might paint it up, or I might turn it into something. I don't know, I'm still confused on what to do. This one went a little bit wrong. Cryptid. I have a small obsession with jackalopes and anything bunny related, but this just didn't come out quite right for me. I mean, if you like it, I can maybe scan it in for you and that sort of stuff, but right now it just feels a little bit, I suppose this is day 20, something like that, day 13, I'm not sure, but it didn't come out amazingly well. The same with Chimera. These prompts were very, very similar, but I prefer this one to the last one. Laboratory or laboratory. She was kind of fun to draw. I got a few things a little bit wrong on the face and drawing everything in black. I should have done it in much darker greys. There's lots of things I would do differently with this one. But that's kind of the thing of doing a daily draw challenge, where you don't actually have time to sit there and overthink and overanalyze. And at the end of the day, I can always draw it again if I want to. This is my Frankenstein one. Like how this came out. It's that eyeball is my favourite. And I did kind of wonky looking ghosts. See if I can get in on that eyeball. I like how this came out. So, kind of worked for me. Poison plant. Again, not the most imaginative thing, but I like it. I like the colour balance. I don't work a ton with greens, and I think she might make a good sticker or a good postcard or something. I don't know. Tatzelworm. Again, never heard of this word before in my life, but there we are. A tatzelworm apparently is a half cat, half lizard creation. Who knew? I didn't. So, let me try and get this. Yeah. Sorry, my camera's doing something funny and I'm just hoping it doesn't completely shut out on me. This was Will-O-the-Wisp. I had no idea what to draw for this one, so a girl holding a lantern with a ghost inside it. Why not? Oh, actually, I think this is my avatar on my Instagram. This is Haunted Forest, and it kind of sparked this huge idea for me of having witches' hats with sort of their own story on top of them. So I did the haunted house, the forest, and the ghosts and everything, and I explore this a lot more further on as well, and I'm going to keep working on this idea because I like how it came out. This prompt was Moon, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with Wicca witchcraft, but there is this ritual called drawing down the moon, where you have a bowl of water and you're meant to imbibe the moon's energies into the water and then use that for blessings and cleansings and those kinds of things. So, werewolf. Kind of I tend to do quite static figures, and this one is a little bit different. I'm not entirely sure I hit what I wanted to, but I still like it. I still like how it came out. Siren is kind of a mermaid creature, which I'm gonna save most of my mermaids for May, that drawing challenge. I'm gonna try and invest in as many of those as I can this year, so expect a few more of those on this channel. Kelpie, I never heard quite what a Kelpie was, but it's some sort of, I think it's a horse, half lizard or half lizardy swamp horse thing. I have no idea. Either way, I decided to draw this weird creature from the Black Lagoon-ish thing with some fins on, and that is meant to be hair, but it just didn't go well, and that's okay. Oh, La Llorona is kind of a really depressing story, and not a giant fan of the story. I haven't watched the horror movie. I know there was a recent one of that came out, and I'm not a giant fan of this illustration either, but you know, you roll with the punches. Small confession, I've never seen Creature from the Black Lagoon, so I had to Google what this was. Either way, I thought it would be fun to put him in an office, an office setting. And again, another witch hiding in a cup of tea. I think this is on my Instagram if you want a clearer look. See if I can give that camera time to refocus. Awesome. Huli Jing is meant to be a fox spirit with multiple tails. I didn't quite get the multiple tails memo. I just got fox spirit, so that's what I came up with for that one. Actually, was a bit more. I think I got stuck on this page for ages and stopped doing all of Inktober for about a week afterwards. You get those little breaks. I mean, I know Inktober's supposed to be a daily drawing, but let's be honest. We do it for the first 10, and then in the last 2 days, we're scribbling like maniacs. Or some people start in September, which probably is something I should do. This was meant to be the prompt to Stranger Things. Couldn't think of anything to do with that. I haven't even seen the new series yet, which I know is probably sacrilege. So I just drew a little teen witch with a funky hat. I actually saw this hat in a shop locally, and I really wanted to buy it, but I wasn't confident enough. So I tried it on, liked the look of it, put it down and ran away. This is Alien. I kind of like the Cyclopsy eye and the use of the green and the mask that she's taking off. Came out okay. I kind of like the colour balance. Pumpkin Guy. Again, self-explanatory. There isn't really much I could do with that. I probably could develop these ideas a lot further, but again, because you're kind of restricted to doing a drawing a day, and I do use these as image banks to draw from when I want to do my bigger paintings, which I'm in the middle of sorting out. Doing some more slow motion, stop motion of those, but I had to buy one of those new timers. This prompt is Creepy Candy, and it is a tiny bit creepy. Kind of reminds me a little bit of that Lord of the Rings Frodo, I think that little hobbity guy, and Shelob. But why not make her bright orange and kind of sew him together? I kind of like how that came out, but it's not, I'm not sure how to put that. And this one is Trick or Treat. So I decided to do with some twins. Twin witches who are both carrying envelopes. Little things like that turn up in my work quite often, and I don't quite know the meaning of them while they turn up till a bit later on. But I think while I was drawing lots of this, and I think while I'm drawing a lot of these envelopes, they tend to be representative of little messages to myself. That might sound a tiny bit involved, but there we go. Now this one I think is the Camilla Dorico prompts, which is Scarecrow. Again, like the colour balance, so I am gonna play with that idea a bit more and develop it a bit more, maybe in another sketchbook. This prompt is Owl, and quite a lot of people like it, which is strange because I almost rubbed it out when I was drawing it and started again. Oh, erased it, I should say, for my American friends. I think that might have a different meaning over there. But yeah, so this one is for the prompt Owl. Kind of like how it came out. I'm glad my friend, I was gonna sort of erase it, and my friend was like, don't you dare, please do that, because he wanted to see it. And I'm glad I listened to him, because you know, us artists can sometimes be a little bit temperamental and a little bit critical of our own work. The prompt for this is Grim Reaper. Again, sort of returning to the skull idea, and I'm kind of loving the ghosts and how that turned out. This one is Demoness, and it reminds me of my Inktober sketches I did last year. I probably will do a video to that one as well. I did an entire sketchbook. Oh, hang on, I can't see that. I did an entire sketchbook in red colours, so that might be something to show you later, but right now it's kind of plodding along. There is no Catwoman besides Michelle Pfeiffer. I'm just gonna say it. Let's be honest, let's be real. She is the only Catwoman. for me. Badass woman, and I love how I can't believe I've never done an illustration of her before. I will be doing another one. It's just right now, again, it's all to do with time. But I kind of like how this one came out. And I kind of wish I had more time to take it further. But again, I'll do that at another time. Wednesday Addams. I've drawn her a few times. I didn't really base this on this Christina Ricci, although she is my favourite Wednesday. But there we go, there's only so much you can do with that one. Haunted Doll. This one I got stuck on for a little while. I did get stuck on this one, but I like how it came out in the end. Kind of like a voodoo doll along those lines. I think I'll be able to do something with this image, do a few more variations of them maybe, or just take it a bit further. And of course I had to put the button on the eye, kind of a little Coraline reference, and to go to tie in with that voodoo doll sort of handmade thing. This was Zombie. It looks a tiny bit similar to my Frankenstein one, but I don't mind that. And I think he came out okay. He's holding his own heart, because sometimes you just need to. This is where I started to stray from all of the prompts. I just got bored of them, and a lot of them were repetitive, so I'd already drawn something on that prompt. So I decided to stick, just draw a witch, keep with that theme of putting things on the hat, with a stay weird sign. I'm not sure how much you can see that. This is on my Instagram, just a small wizard. Sometimes I need to draw boys who practice magic too. I like how this one came out, but this is when I stopped posting these on Instagram, so you won't have seen many of the ones that are coming. Again, just a witch wandering around with an envelope. The balance of the hair and the grey and the yellow and the grey, I like how they sort of complement each other. And the darker greys give it a bit more of a dirty vibe. Hate how this one came out. Just don't like it, the colours are off. Candles, again, exploring that. I had to fit a ghost in there. I just had to. Sorry if I'm buggering around with the camera just a little bit too much, because it's the light in this house, in my art room, this time of day is not great, and I'm trying to make sure I get decent images, and they're not looking great on this camera. So if they do look terrible, I'll have to re-record all of this at another point. Again, not a fan of that one. It just threw it together just to fill the page. This one, again, exploring the more of an industrial thing, and somebody living in there with the ladder and the little plant pot. I did make a mistake with the hair. I don't know if you can see it. I tried to cover it up with more Posca, but came out okay, I think, in the end. Can't remember if there was a prompt for this one, or whether I just wanted to draw a couple of girls. I do try to play with proportions as well, now and again, with the length of things, but I'm not entirely sure how successful this one was. I like it, but I'm not sure if it can be used anywhere else. We'll see, you let me know what you think anyway. This character has been turning up a lot in my sketchbooks. She's intensely creepy. I kind of gone for that cute, nasty look. But this is the first time she turned up during Inktober, and she's in a lot of my other sketchbooks since. I'm not entirely sure what she represents yet, but I'm sure she'll let me know at some point. The spider eyes, that came out okay. Oh no, my battery's dying on the camera. Please last. This, I was following on from that yokai theme. This guy he's carrying a book. I'm just trying to get all that in. This one, I can't remember. He's in a lot of my sketchbooks. You'll have seen him before. His purpose is kind of comfort. So I think I'm stepping out, or stepping into comfort in that picture. That's just a witch with a book that is going to bite her. So I think this is kind of a little bit of an adaptation, abbreviation maybe, inspiration from the Harry Potter's monster books. Like how that came out. She's there again, this time as a witch, and I decided to turn half of her face into a skull. Again, these aren't prompted, just things that I'm playing with and ideas that I'm playing with, just to get them all in order and stuff that I want to... I'm just rambling now. It's hard to fill all of this, but these are my favourite ones towards the end. Like how she came out, I love that theme. I am going to do more of this one. I think she's another one of my favourites from the sketchbook. This is also another one I like. The haunted house, the creepy girls, the cute creepy girls, and a little graveyard there. And I did a softer colour on the witch's hat so that you can see more detail. Well, I hope you can see more detail anyway. Oh, excuse me, I've wolfed my coffee down. This is just a witch with horns with a giant golden pentagram on her head and a ghost next to her. The Poscas took a while because obviously you can see they bleed through on the back, so just one illustration per page. She was kind of thrown together last minute. Don't hate her though. I did change the colour of the horns a little bit, but there we go. This I think is a bit memeable, so this one will be scanned in and shared on social media. I can't think of a caption for it though. If you can, let me know. Just a couple of witches with monster faces sharing a cup of tea. I drew the last 6 of these I drew yesterday, so I'm still sort of getting the reference for them. But I like his jumper. I kind of like the striped jumper look. Continuing that yokai theme, the spirit coming out of the body, and I'm kind of into drawing these creepy ass mouths at the moment. And this is the last one. I ran out of ideas here, so I just did a girl with horns with a heart-shaped hole drinking coffee. Interesting side note, I can't drink coffee anymore since my being ill last year. Every time I drink coffee now that's not decaffeinated, I have an anxiety attack in my sleep. But that's a whole other video to go through. And that's it. That's 60 drawings, I think, in this one, with the 11 watercolour illustrations. So that's that. I'll chat to you in a sec. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for tuning in. Please like and subscribe and ring the notification bell and talk to me and give me some advice and help me and do all those kinds of things, because I'm still feeling very much like a fish out of water here. So we're gonna go have some fun together. Anyway, I'll get ready on my next video. Speak to you soon.